My mother is extremely vain.
She can be difficult.
She is very envious.
My mom is pretty selfish.
Narcissistic.
My mom loves to call us little monsters.
Evil.
Spawns of Satan.
Devil demon children.
Mean girls.
Little brats.
My mom was a bad mom growing up.
My mother was not a good provider. There were a lot of times where we didn't have food in the house. I would go to school hungry. My mother was not loving.
I never heard I love you or got hugged, or my mom never showed up to any school functions.
She spent a lot of time in her bedroom.
We weren't allowed in there. She rarely came out. She was gone a lot.
My mom acts like a teenage party girl who is one of our best friends instead of a mom.
She basically ditched us for men and partying.
She would go to clubs for days at a time.
And on a couple of occasions, she did get beat up and raped.
My mom has always prioritized men in her life.
My mother has been married and divorced 4 times.
Currently seeking number 5.
She has what we call a 7 to 10 year itch. She's very difficult to get along with. Things aren't going her way. She's out of there.
She will find a new man and start over again from ground zero. My mother is like a phoenix who rises from the ashes each time she burns her life to the ground.
My mom loves drama.
I refer to my mom as the Lisa Show. It's always a new job or a new man that she's been talking to. The conversation is always just about her. When I was 15 years old, my mom divorced her 3rd husband. I went away to a friend's house for the weekend, and when I came back, I no longer had my stepdad. We no longer lived in the home that we lived in.
My mother basically abandoned me and my sister with my dad. I was about 8.
My mom didn't call or visit for 3 years. My mom absolutely abandoned us.
I don't have much of a relationship with her currently.
I use my mom as an example of how not to be as a parent.
My mother needs a lot of help.
Okay, you guys sometimes don't get along, but you do agree on your mother, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
You agree she hasn't been, like, the best mom.
She
Absolutely.
has not been a very good mom.
I would say she hasn't been a mom at all.
Tell me about her nurturing when you were growing up. What kind of nurturance did you get from her? I'm talking about crawling up in her lap, hugs,
No, my mom's
getting in
always
bed,
been
reading stories.
She's always been a pretty distant person, emotionally and physically. The phrase "kids smell like dirt" had come out of her mouth a
Kids
lot
smell
when
like what?
Kids smell like dirt.
Dirt?
Like dirt. So she didn't really like us on her or physically near her. She seemed kind of a little grossed out by kids.
We were never hugged or said,
Yeah.
I love you. Or
With the grandkids, before they can approach her, she's usually taking something to wipe them off and fix their hair before they can even hug her or anything.
Okay, why?
That's why we're here.
I think it makes her really uncomfortable.
That's your question for me.
Yes.
Big
Yeah.
question.
Why
Okay.
she's like that.
I think feelings make her entirely uncomfortable.
So who played the mom in this group?
That would be Brandi.
That
That was you, Brandi, right?
That's me, yep, very much so. I had to step in.
So at 16, you were already momming,
Yes,
right?
absolutely, yep.
You had a job, you were taking care
I
of
had a
these
job,
guys?
I had to pay bills. Cell phones weren't readily available back then in communication, so we would go days wondering, when she was gonna come home, trying to figure out how I could pay the bills, just even physically getting the money to them, because that's a challenge, and how to get groceries, taking the bus to get groceries.
The only food that I would get, as a teenager around 15, 16 would be food that Brandi would bring home from her job because she worked at a restaurant. Otherwise, I had to go to friends' house and stuff for top ramen
It just
even.
wasn't a priority, for
It just
sure.
wasn't.
So you say Lisa knows nothing about your life, Wendi, nothing.
No, I don't feel like my mom knows anything about my life. As a matter of fact, when I saw her yesterday or the day before, she finally asked me what my job was.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.